Happy New Year.
Yes, welcome to 2020, y'all.
We're back.
That's right, man. Crack yourself a White Claw, get comfy, enjoy yourselves.
Got turned on to the White Claw drink. Shout out to Marty and Sarah podcast.
Right on, man.
It's kind of like that Buble drink at Target that's god awful with a good flavor.
It tastes good. It's got a little thunder hooch in it.
that makes it fancy.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I've been searching all over creation over here, and all you can find in our neck of the woods is the variety pack. And I like a good variety pack, but I could tell the only flavor I'm gonna like is cherry. Just sell me a box of cherry. Turn to my blood. Turn to the Total Wine liquor store,
Baby.
and they got every flavor you could want, and
Yes, they do.
it's on box plus the variety. So I'm like, good, just give me that.
It's a place to be, man.
I'm Jared, by the way.
I'm Josh, yes. In
What's up?
2020, I'm still Josh, and it's good to be here, man. Total Wine is such a phenomenon. We were talking about it. That as far as I know, I used to work in the business. I never worked at Total Wine. It would have been fun, but there's just not one close to here. But apparently what happened, man, a lot of, it was guys that own liquor stores in all types of different states, I think mostly in the South, but kind of everywhere. And they converged on Georgia right in time for the laws to change, and they were like, hey, you know who doesn't have strict laws on, like, basically antitrust type laws on liquor? And you basically had like 7 guys, like 7 buyers for different stores that were all like, why don't we just pool our buying power and open a warehouse? And they hit Georgia, and they liked it. And the only rule in Georgia basically is that I think it's like per county or something like that. And this might not be the case anymore at all. If you got 2 stores in the county, if you got 3 stores in the county, multiple stores in the county, one of them can sell liquor, and that's it. So total, pretty much, you might find 2 in one place, but it's usually just the one, and boom, there you go. But it just worked out great for her. But because of that buying power, man, it's Walmart. It's literally the Walmart of liquor.
That's what it feels like when you walk in there. It's like a Sam's Club.
Yeah, that's totally what it is, because the idea is, excuse me, their retail price is less than the bottle cost of anybody they're competing with.
That was the other thing that was shocking me. Is like, man, I expected it to be really expensive, like a liquor store, and it was the same price as you'd pay at like a Walmart.
Absolutely, it was very smart. The guys that put that idea together, it was smart. They knew what they were doing, and it's like we were talking about. I think I've been there. I think I've been to Total Wine 3 times ever, because I was just looking for stuff like, oh man, it's impossible. It's so hard to find, la-di-da. And I was 3 for 3. I've never left there without exactly what I was looking for. It's great, man.
So I was thrilled.
Yeah,
It's
man.
like, fun to go and shop around, because they're gonna have what you're looking for the most part, and it's still loaded with a bunch of stuff that I want to try that. I want to try this. So you can rack up a hefty bill,
Hefty bill. That's true, man.
You do that at your neighborhood package bottle shop
For garbage.
so you might as well go to a place where it's at least going to be fun.
The hooch is decent.
Yeah, so it's not a trip I don't have to make that trip every week.
Oh, yeah.
I know some people that do, but I go and I stock up, man. The stuff I got that will last me well over a month. So it's like, why not?
Yeah, man. That's
Why not
cool.
Get a couple packs. So that's how I celebrate New Year's
Yes,
today.
sir.
that was part of my deal for not this last weekend. I was just like talking about a piss poor mood, where I was just like, it was right after Christmas, and that's no excuse for being in a bad mood. It's like, it was just one of those nights where it's like, man, I'm able to get on that thing on YouTube and just shut this bee down.
Curse up a storm. You won't shut me down for curse words YouTube. I'm gonna give you your money's worth.
So that's where I was like, I'm such a mark for Hollywood award season. So I kind of shanghaied Josh into coming over.
Oh
and
man,
like,
I'm with you. I like
anytime there's an award show on, I'm like, I do that thing. Like, well, I'm just gonna watch a little bit of it. Then next thing I know, they're running the credits. Like, well,
Yeah.
we watched it.
And I'm with you. No, my tag that I always wind up seeing are the thing that I always notice. It's like I'm the same way. I'm just gonna watch a couple, just a few. It's all good. I want to get an idea of a couple of movies I'd like to see, and it'll be real good. And I'm always getting in there, or sticking around long enough to see the man. Have we been on this long? Oh, we're so over. Oh man,
please kill me.
Yeah, seriously, man.
And having a host like Ricky Gervais just kind of sucks me in too, because I love that guy.
Me too,
I like everything he's in, and that style of humor, that roast style of humor, where the meaner the better, it's hilarious to me, and I honestly think he does it in that John Rickles fashion, where I don't think he really is intending to hurt anybody's feelings, but if it happens, he's not gonna be the least
Ricky.
bit apologetic about it. It's like, well,
Ricky,
you're a Hollywood phony.
Yeah, I get 50-50s from Ricky. I'm very much with you. I think like the personal stuff for people in the room, it's just in good fun. But Epstein, Weinstein, the industry itself, that's real.
Yeah,
I'm totally with you. It's like, 'cause he has a lot of fun with those.
In any humor, there's got to be a little grain, a nugget of truth.
Yeah, I think
that's
you're right.
Like, I really mean this one.
Yeah,
but
because it just flies away if it's not. I think you're right.
Not poking fun at anybody that he hurt, but poke fun at him and hurt him with the joke. So I think that's what it's going for. So but I always have a fun time watching any of those shows where it's like that's like totally nerd out and just mark it up.
I do the same thing, man. I really like
pretty dresses.
Yeah, I really like award shows. On the subject of pretty dresses, I was telling the man that dresses are interesting. I think fashion's interesting because I don't have any interest as far as what I adorn myself in other than my socks. My sock drawer is the only thing where I get like real. I like my socks, but fashion's interesting. It's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with any of it. But I say that to say this. I'm not sure, I don't even know what to call anything that's not a dress or a suit, but the composer that won for the Joker score, I don't know what her outfit, what that style would be called, but that was awesome looking. Yeah. She looked so cool, man. It was like, I mean, it looked like a single strap dress up top, but then it was like pants that were almost like pyramids. It was hard to explain, but man, she looked cool. I love that.
Yeah, it seemed to be the year for like just big, huge shoulder stuff. I'm like, yeah, what is going on with
between Beyonce and Jennifer Lopez, man, they were really like they were taking up some room, which is
the Mr. Sinister cape.
Yeah, they borrowed their stuff from what's it, Ty Dillinger. They borrowed the Ty Dillinger, the horrible Ty Dillinger thing.
4 Pop College School.
Oh my gosh.
but that's kind of. I wish I could say I watched the Golden Globes to get an idea of what movies to go out and see, because most of this time for this particular award show, most stuff that's nominated you can't go see yet, or you have just been able to see it. But then there was so much stuff where it's part of it is just my age and the demographic I'm in that's nominated. I'm like, no clue what this even is or who this person is.
Yeah, man.
For the most part, but there's always. That 1 or 2 categories were like, nah, I got to stick around for this one, to see, who gets this or that. Before I know it, the show's over. So.
Yeah, the tip-offs were, what the heck was it called, man? It's the one that Merritt Weaver was up for. I think it's Unbelievable. I think is what it was called, and I know that one because the thing about getting off Netflix, and I can tell you because I haven't been on Netflix for a while, is boy howdy do they crank out originals fast. So if you're off for a little while, a lot of them will get released, and then it's like, oh man, I gotta watch. Ooh, I need to see that. La-di-da. I was telling the man, between Amazon and Netflix, which Netflix I've never signed up for. I leached off my brother and my sister-in-law for years, so I still got my free trial with them intact without even having to create a new email address. And with Amazon, it's I ordered this awesome Lego set for Christmas, but it was going to be $100 anyway. So I'm like, well, I'm not wasting my. Yeah, you can upgrade to Prime shipping and get some TV, and it's like, no, I'm going to get this shit for free anyway. The next time I want some for $15, I'll do that. But I'm trying to get my list together of the things that I want to watch whenever I turn them on, because it's like, okay, do this and hit this first, and it'll be all good. And Amazon Prime, I know it's Aeronauts. And it's Miss Maisel. I think, if I remember correctly, I'm probably just going to start with episode 1 of season 2 because I know I started season 2. I don't think I finished it, so I'm gonna just start there and get caught up. And what was man? There's 3 of them on Amazon, and I can't believe Fleabag. Fleabag is the third one, and I'm gonna get those watched, and then I'll be good. And then for Netflix, it's Marriage Story, which I'm pretty sure is them. I think that's their stuff. Oh my gosh, what am I forgetting? Unbelievable.
Dolomite is.
Yeah, Dolomite looks awesome. I agree. That's fair. I had no idea. That's another one. I hadn't heard it till Eddie hosted SNL, and then he said what he was up to, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And then I found out it was on there, and I'm like, all right, well that goes on the list.
Yeah. They keep putting out rumors about a special, a stand-up special that he's gonna do, and I'm like, man, I hope that works. I hope it happens. What I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I hope it works out.
No,
that was the impression I got. Yeah.
No, I mean I hope that's true.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Okay, I got you.
Because that's I'm excited just hearing about that.
Eddie Murphy. I made this realization not too long ago. Eddie Murphy is why I don't care for stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're a kid and you watch Eddie Murphy, once you've seen the face of God,
I came on just the right time.
Don't nothing else compare.
To be unimpressed
ain't nobody else gonna get up there because Eddie's stuff is still hilarious. I love it. I love it, man. So I'm with you. It's just that because I used to think about that. I was like, man, I used to love stand-up when I was a kid. How come you don't like it anymore? And it finally occurred to me. It's like, well, the first things you watched were Raw and Delirious, man. Of course you don't like anything else, man.
How am I supposed to come down?
Yeah, for real. Come on, man.
Man, I got into the New Year's celebrating this past week with I love a good list, but this New Year's was kind of like, for some reason, everybody was doing like, not only are we going to do our year-end list, we got to do celebrate the decade. I'm like, more over than any other turning over did I notice that was a big deal for everybody this year. Like, why? It's like everybody had a big hard on for last names in the last Star Wars movies. Like, why? It's like everybody was like, Ray who? It's like, how many times are you going to ask her that? Anyway, everybody was all like, well, we got to do the decade. So I was just like, every time a list started, I was like, how long is this going to be? Jesus Christ.
We're going to make this list till we make the next one.
So I stuck with my New Year's tradition of watching the Twilight Zone marathon, as much of it as I can get in. And it's one of those shows I just nerd out for and just love, because there's and every year, as much as it feels like, I mean, there's only so many episodes of this show. At some point, I have to have seen them all. There's always that one that I was like completely forget, or I'm just like, because there was the first couple of seasons of the show, they're just 30 minutes, and then they get to an hour like later on. So those are the ones I've seen fewer of, the 30-minute ones. But there was some of those that came across this year. I was like, what in the world is this? I've never seen this, but I like that. As a big misconception of that show is it's not Alfred Hitchcock. It's not, and as much as I love Alfred Hitchcock, there a lot of people have this idea, well, Twilight Zone's scary. It's gonna be scary. It was not Rod Sterling trying to scare little kids. It was his commentary on the times, and that's where you get some of the episodes where like, I guess that you just had to be there. I know what was going on at the time to get this one, because some of them, in my opinion, some of the best episodes are the stuff that gives you a little bit of a spook. Those are the ones that I remember. But there are some that came across this year. I'm like, I don't know what's happening here. I don't get it. But for the most part, the best episodes, and pretty much all the episodes, when they're dealing with the main character, it feels like some type of judgment. It feels like either whatever's happening to them, they deserve it. Whether they were a prick, just naive or just they were given a chance to stand up for something and they didn't do it. So and sometimes that's all it takes for some of the stories to be like, well, I guess you had it coming, didn't you? But the one episode, one of the most popular episodes of the show is Time Enough Now, I think's the title of the show. It's this episode of Burgess Meredith. He's the businessman who just wants to read his books, and he does nothing wrong to anybody. He's got a bitch ass wife. He has to deal with all these people in his life that he's good to, and he finally gets his wish of everybody. Maybe that's his flaw. Is he went Kevin McAllister on that ass and thought that he got his wish and everybody was gone, and he gets his time to read his books and he leans over and his glasses just go smash, and I'm like, he did nothing wrong. So that's the one episode where I just feel terrible for the guy, and because for the most part, I mean, there's a lot of the characters in those shows like, good, serves you right, is the kind of the sentiment that you have. But that's the one that just in watching that this year, I was like, this guy, he did nothing to anybody. All he wanted to do was read his books and watch their own fucking.
Seriously, man.
But man, that's probably
Certainly. You're entering a world where people want to be left alone. Not a good idea, Burgess. That's it.
Hello.
Reading? What were you thinking?
But it's just one of those shows that it's like, I think the more I see some of them, very rarely does the show get better and better and better. And there's a lot of those episodes that just get better and better and better. And some of the ones that I'd always heard about and finally got to see this year, I saw this was one of the ones I was kind of like, man, nothing's really happening in this one. It was there's an episode, I don't recall the title. It was the Buster Keaton episode. I think I've just got it on the DVR. There was a few of them. I went through what was coming up because I was getting ready to fall asleep, and if I saw an actor's name that I recognized, I was like, record. There's a Buster Keaton episode, and one of the most interesting things about this episode is it's, for the most part, silent.
Yeah, man.
And it's Buster. I think it's pretty late in life for him. I was gonna say late in career. I think it's pretty late in life. I started to Google it and just see if this was one of the last things he did. It's got to be close. The only Buster Keaton I'd ever seen was young, skinny, Confederate. I think's the name of the movie with the train. And this one, it's a silent movie for the first half, and he's working for these inventors that make this time machine hat that sends him from 1890 to whatever year it was, like 1940 something, and he's freaking out about the prices of ground beef and this, that, and the other thing, and he speaks. I don't know if he had ever spoken in a role before, but for the most part, he's kind of like he gets flash forwarded, and you're kind of like, there's really no twist or to this one. It's just kind of like, I think we just wanted to work with Buster Keaton, so this is a kind of a way we can have him do his thing and do our thing, and then have a Twilight Zone episode to go along with it. Then there was another episode that was, and another fun thing too is how many members of the shows and the cast get recycled. Burgess is on 3 or 4 episodes, and the thing about Burgess is like all of his episodes are like most of the top of the list of like the best ofs, and Shatner's on several, and But there was this one particular episode. It was called "The Jungle," and it focused on the idea of New York being the concrete jungle. It begins with the and the primary actor, and he was from another episode. He's from that one. He was from the Jack Burton, I think it's Jack Warden episode where he's the guy on another planet in prison, and there's these astronauts that come and visit him, and for like 15 minutes every 6 months, and he's just like pleading with them to stay a little bit longer, and he's like, we gotta go, pal. We gotta get back to the ship, or we're gonna miss our trajectory. It's that guy. He's the main actor in The Jungle, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's this guy who's recently back from Africa working for this big New York corporation, and he's hearing all these lions coming after him and these tribal drums, and everybody's going, I don't hear nothing. What are you talking about? And there's not much of a twist to that one, but I won't spoil the ending. But you kind of like, you get to the end, like, oh well, I'll be damned.
Well, okay then.
Well, there wasn't much of a swerve in that one. What was I supposed to learn from that one?
For real.
But it just felt like that was the overriding theme with a lot of the episodes I saw this year. It's kind of like, well, these didn't always have the twist ending that
That became famous for.
that I remember. Someone just kind of straight up, like Rod was just kind of like, man, this is messed up, ain't it?
F you guys.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my New Year's day, and I was not into eating greens. As much as I have no problem with vegetables. It's just the New Year's tradition of sitting down and having your greens and your peas and all this, that, and other thing. I'm like, I just don't like it, and I've pretty much decided this year, like, I'm done with it.
Man,
no, thank you.
I eat collard greens about 30 times a year anyway. I ain't setting my clock, man.
Well, why's today special?
Yeah, we do this all the time, man.
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin Rhonda makes. Oh my God, I like peas and greens anyway. I'm good with it. I like it, especially if there's a little squash in there. And by a little, I mean as much as I can get, because it's holy crap.
Yeah, man.
But man, my cousin Rhonda makes this pepper sauce. It's like straight up ball jar homemade pepper sauce, and man, that is what has been missing from my life. I swear to God, I would drink that stuff. It is so good. Oh man. So you put a little Texas Pete on there. I put curry on mine too, because I put curry on everything. Put a little curry, a little black pepper, a little Texas Pete, and that pepper sauce on top of it, and fish a couple of peppers out and stick them in there. Oh my gosh, man. Now I gotta do it. But I'm with you. I don't like setting the clock. I don't ever plan out what I'm gonna eat till I wake up. It's like, yeah, okay, man, I'll figure this out. I'm gonna backtrack. Twilight Zone. Actually, I'm going to backtrack to the Golden Globes, because what I wanted to mention was something we talked about.
Rock and roll.
About the only thing that won anything that I've actually seen this year was The Farewell, and it was great. I was really, really glad that she won, because she was real good in that, and that was a cool movie, and I'm glad that it got any type of acknowledgement is good.
I've heard the Awkwafina name.
Yeah.
But and I had seen her, but I didn't realize I had seen her.
Yeah, man.
And saw her at Set tonight. I was like, oh, that's who that is.
It was really, really good. I loved that movie. I thought it was quite awesome. And I think Joker, honest to goodness, Joker might be the only other thing I've seen that won something. Either that or I'm forgetting some stuff. And as far as him winning Best Actor, I mean, that's not a tough sell. He was fantastic. I haven't seen Hollywood yet, so I understand that Leo and Brad are big swingers in that. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing that. I just haven't yet, but I'm pretty sure that Netflix has that by now. So if I get into the trial thing and I can watch that, I'll try and get that looked at too. I tend to go more originals heavy whenever I get my, for Pete's sake, Netflix pocket.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be that. It'll be. I'll figure it out. Excuse me. The transition to Twilight Zone. It wasn't New Year's Day, but it might have been the first. I don't really remember, because what's the schedule?
It's kind of weird. It's like the channels that run the one movie over Christmas. Like, when does it start? When does it end? I lose track.
You're just getting that like time warp, man. I saw a couple of movies recently. I watched The Peanut Butter Falcon, which I had seen a preview for and got really excited about for a couple of reasons. Um, not the least among them that there's talk of pro wrestling, so of course I like that. But also, there's a phenomena among Hollywood actors that I really, really like for myself, and I'm sure this has been going on for much, much longer than this. It's just for the age we are. The first time that I really noticed it was when Kate and Leo got the big paycheck to be in Titanic and basically bought themselves freedom for the rest of their careers. Now you can do whatever you want to because you got the huge paycheck movie. You're getting, I don't know if they've got like points. It would not surprise me if they took points on the back end on that, which of course is perpetuity and you'll be rich for the rest of your life. And that's great because I really like both of them, and I'm glad that's two people that bought themselves that freedom. And several other people have done likewise since then. I think that's what... for Pete's sake, Twilight. Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. That's what they did. That's definitely what Kristen Stewart did. Because, man, her movies that she does now, the roles that she chooses to take, are awesome. She's got real good taste, and I get very excited about anything that I hear she's doing just because she's just got... she makes good decisions. She likes cool stuff. Dakota Johnson for 50 Shades. Same thing. So I'm happy that Dakota Johnson's in that movie because I like anybody that's like, if you're going to take, it's just get it, do that. It's all good, man, because you do this thing that I'm not interested in, but a lot of people are. And it puts you in a position to do stuff you're interested in, and apparently the stuff you're interested in, I am too. So this is cool. But the main reason I wanted to watch it is Shia LaBeouf is a very interesting guy to me because this is an actor that I honestly don't. I believe that the complete list of Shia LaBeouf movies that I have seen now resides at one. I think that's the only thing I've ever actually seen him in as a movie. I saw him in Freaks and Geeks because we all did, but he was in it for one, and he was great. This one scene was hilarious. But I just like that dude. I don't really know why. But I wanted to watch Peanut Butter Falcon, and I loved it. I thought I don't want to go into details why because I will really ruin stuff. If you're interested in it, I don't want to tell you because it's awesome. Check it out. Excuse me, loved it. Thomas Hayden Church, man, he was awesome in it too. And then I followed that up with I would say probably 1:30 a.m. viewing of Midsummer. And the Twilight Zone thing reminded me of that as far as if we want just alternate realities and different possible, a very familiar world. It's very believable that this takes place in the world that we live on, but man, it shows you different sides of it. I don't want to say too much about this one either, so I'll try and speak in non-specifics, but just general terms. I'm not a huge horror movie guy, and I use genre terms very fast and loose. So when I say horror movie, I can understand it.
Snippy with that, like it's a thriller. Whatever.
I can understand if people would not consider this one a horror movie, but I did, and it's not like boo scary killer with a knife getting everybody. It's not that. Well, if it's a horror movie, who's the bad guy? Ain't no bad guy. Well, there are bad guys in this movie.
Terrifying.
There are bad guys in the movie, but they're not the ones you wind up with. My idea of a horror movie, like I was telling the man, is it seems to me anything that I can watch and it seems like the scenes were written from the standpoint of like, what would scare me? And I don't mean what would scare me as far as scary guy in the corner or jump out scary, but like what ideas scare me? Where are the places that my brain goes that makes me kind of shiver a little bit? And then work backwards from that and basically come up with there are just certain things and let me be very, very clear. I loved Midsummer. I will probably never watch it again, but I loved it. And if you like, I say this a lot, but I've been very lucky the last 2 years especially, man. So much of the stuff I watch anymore, man, is just anything that's super unique and just happens to, you just hear the little voice, man. You'll come across stuff. And Midsummer got me with the poster. We were talking about it. If you want to check it out, Midsommer, Midsummer. Just look at the poster. Just the poster. And if it does it for you, check it out.
You're talking about the poster. The second I saw it from the director of Heredity, I was like, I'm probably out.
I can dig it.
That's probably it. Thanks, no thanks.
I can dig it, man. It's, even the poster, the way I described it initially, I think was pretty good, so I'll stick with it. It seems to me to be or all of the psychological aspects of a jump scare, but with the balls to have it in broad daylight, still, and right there in front of you. It's not flashy, it's not loud because it's a freaking poster. It doesn't make any noise at all. But it's just
daylight, and you're still gonna be like,
yeah, it's just such a striking and grabbing image, and I love it. And I'm like, I gotta watch this movie.
Yeah.
And boy, howdy did it! No, I mean it sets the tone, but it don't give it away.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's hard to explain. I can't remember. It got me in the mindset of Under the Skin, which is another one that just. This is a very crass way to describe Under the Skin, but I'm gonna say it. It sucks because that movie was unbelievably good. Under the Skin is awesome. The soundtrack. I say this about Alien all the time. The soundtrack to Alien is scarier than most horror movies. The soundtrack to Under the Skin. There are like certain. My refrigerator makes certain noises when the ice maker is on, and it reminds me of a particular part of that soundtrack, and that freaks me out. It is just fantastically evocative and moving, possibly in all the wrong ways. But the crass thing that I can tell you about Under the Skin is this. Under the Skin is a movie that ticks a very particular box in dude cinema. In dude cinema, all we care about is who's naked and what do they show. Complete, full body nudity for Scarlett Johansson.
yeah.
And I assure you, if that's why you want to watch it, it's a bad idea. There's a reason that nobody talks about, man, see that movie Scarlett got naked in? Oh, yeah, it's because you don't want to watch it. No. It's not worth it. If that's all you're watching it for, even though it's Scarlett Johansson, who is absolutely staggeringly beautiful, I promise you, if that's what you're going to watch it for, it ain't worth your time. Because, oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. That movie is so good, and I will, again, I have a copy of that one, but if I ever watch it again, I'll be shocked because I went buck wild on that one and watched it multiple times when I first got it, and I'm like, I don't know if you can do this again. Midsummer, I probably owe at least one more, not even a day in court, because I loved the movie, but I think it'd be neat to watch it, knowing where it's going. Everything's better the second time. Everything I like better the second time, and I like this one so much the first time, it's like, you should probably watch that again. But man, it is... Holy crap, I loved it. It's very difficult for me to explain why I liked it so much, but it's because I've got no frame of reference because it's such a unique thing. God dang, it was good.
It feels like horror genre and Christmas movie genre, people try to protect with like this venom, and at the same time, they try to spin every other movie into being one of those movies, but then only these can be that.
It's weird, man.
So it's like, man, when some people say the word horror, they hear slasher movie, and I'm like, if that's what it is to you, then fine. Or some people say horror and they think sci-fi or thriller or whatever it is. It's like, man, it's what you make of it. And if I don't know, whatever scares you to the point where it's on the shelf and it's like, no, I'm not watching that.
No, I'm good.
Then it's a horror movie.
Yeah, like existential, psychological doom. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm giving away way too much, but my opinion on Midsummer is, I don't know, man, a lot of commentary about religion. But not in the traditionally negative sense, because it ain't. It's Sweden, man. It ain't Christianity, so that's not what they're talking about. But they do such a fascinating job of representing isolation, extreme version of representing isolation, and out of nowhere isolation too. I don't want to get into that. Sorry to say stuff like that, but I don't want to ruin it. But that happens immediately. That's before the credits run. So they give you this like staggering example of isolation, and then this overwhelming obstacle course in order to recalibrate yourself to feel somewhat belonging somewhere / anywhere. And the anywhere they give you to get into it, man, it's hard to explain, but it was just like the fundamental need that all of us have to feel like we belong somewhere, to then use these visuals and these stories to be like the representation of just what you will do to get back inside, whether you know it or not. And boy, that's a huge part right there. Oh my God, I loved it. I'm gonna go home and watch it now. I've talked myself back into it. I loved it so much. It was unreal, and I feel bad because I really watched them in the wrong order. Because man, if you want to watch them both, save the Falcon for second because it'll make you feel it's not an overwhelmingly happy movie, but boy, it's happier than Midsummer. Which there are prostate exams that are happier than Midsummer, so it's like
Peanut Butter Falcon is on my list of stuff that I want to see from this year. Then, speaking of Shia LaBeouf movies, there's that Honey Boy.
Yeah,
Is his movie.
Yeah,
It's
man.
supposed to be pretty much his life story and the issues he had with his dad, handling his career and being on sets and causing problems. And I've heard nothing but good things from both of those.
Yeah, man.
Of this, from this actor that was supposed to be a joke and written off just a year ago, has like 2 movies out in the same year that are supposed to be really, really good.
It's
Worth checking out. And I will eventually get around to seeing both of them.
He's one of those cats like Joaquin Phoenix, like you and I talk about, man. It seems odd to me. There are people that I hate the term 3D chess because people use it way too often, but there are people that seem to be operating as though life is Twitter in the year 2173. It just seems like there are certain people that really, really, really know how to work the system before the system realizes it's being worked. Joaquin Phoenix did this. Oh man, he's crazy. That guy's nuts. He's nuts. Then he put the documentary out explaining, yeah, it was a trick. Shia LaBeouf skipped that part. He never put the documentary out. Shia LaBeouf basically turned his life into a performance art piece. It's pretty cool, and a lot of people still aren't sure. Wait, hold on, that's cool. I think that's great. I think, hey man, if you can do it and you got the ability to do it, because it's just more of that. You and I talk, boy, man, I use this example way too much, especially with the man, because but everybody our age likes to think if they were growing up when Andy Kaufman was doing Andy Kaufman, man, I'd have loved him. I would have got it. I would have thought it was neat. And it's like, I don't know if you would or not. I tell people the same thing. I tell people the same thing right now with Ali. Everybody wants to tell you, I would have been on Muhammad's side. I would have believed Ali. Ask yourself how you handle LeBron James. If you want to know about a frontline, activist, politically involved athlete, talking that stuff you might not want to hear. LeBron James just made a Nike ad that basically said, what if basic human income was a thing? What if socialism was a thing we did in this country? I believe his verbiage is, what if there were no more humble beginnings? What if we didn't let people be so damn poor they have to like beg and borrow and steal to get ahead? It's on a Nike ad. On a Nike ad. Michael's company. Let's see how that one lands. I'm telling you, it's like we talk about that a bunch. And Shia LaBeouf, and I thought Lady Gaga's 5'2" was the same thing. That is a very... The project it seemed like she was trying to do with that was fascinatingly weird. I love her, so I'm biased, but it just seemed like such an interesting thing. You have a scene where you get a phone call about your friend coming out of remission, man. Her cancer's back. And Gaga has this breakdown about how it affects her. And it's like she is playing Mariah. She is playing the diva for you. This is not real. This is an act. That's what I got. And either everybody has forgiven her for something truly horrible, or they figured that one out. But yeah, it's the deal. It's like, you can think that Andy wouldn't have got one over on you. I'm pretty sure he would have got me. But it's fun when people like come up. YouTube is a fascinating thing because man, you can do whatever you want to, no matter who you are. Jim Carrey did the same thing. Jim was very, very sincere. He wasn't playing anybody, but well, Jim Carrey, he's crazy now. It's like, nah, man, I just talk about stuff like I will talk about. Jim Carrey's only problem is Carrey would talk crap about establishment Democratic politicians in Hollywood circles. It's not popular now. It certainly wasn't when he was doing it, so that's what got him in trouble, man. I think stuff like that is fascinating, man. And it's even if you don't agree with people, man, anyone that's got the stones to be exactly who they are and tell you, that's pretty cool. Yeah. It's pretty cool. You can have some good conversations that way, man.
Heck yeah. Man, talking about Mike and Nike ads reminds me of since the last we sat down and talked, one of the guys that's left us was David Stern. And shout out to David Stern.
Oh man, I have so much overwhelming respect for David Stern. I really like that guy, man.
I was just shocked at how old he wasn't. For some reason, when I was a kid, and maybe he just went gray really early. I was just certain he was 1,000 years old, and I think he was 77.
Yeah, man.
And so and talking about we were just trying to in my lifetime, there's been two NBA commissioners.
Yeah, man.
Baseball's had three or four.
Yeah, man.
So that's another. It's the reason why he was such a big deal to me. I mean I think that's saying something to where it's him and David Silver, the only two I've ever known, and it's and I just did. People like that are going to leave, but you heard he was having some health issues, and the next week it happened.
Yeah,
so,
man.
but I was just certain that he was older than what he was, just because it seemed like, he had gray hair when I was in high school. He's got to be like 1,000 years old.
He's commissioner of the NBA. He can't be young.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I love David Stern for several reasons. Jackie McMullen mentioned in her book that she wrote about Magic and Larry. I thought this was fascinating because I knew that Stern was huge as far as he was very innovative, and it was all like, well, they got all those expansion teams because of Michael. Yeah, because David Stern was smart enough to expand the league when Mike was Mike. That's why you have Miami Heat, Minnesota Timberwolves, and Vancouver Grizzlies. They're not there anymore, but still, they're in Memphis now.
Yeah.
Toronto Raptors. It's what made the game international, literally in a continental sense. Then he made it before that, though, he made it international.
With the Dream Team. Yeah.
Absolutely. The thing that's most fascinating about the Dream Team, though, is this. David Stern, what Jackie McMullen said about him basically was his first two orders of business when he got the job in 1984, massive year 1984, was to literally begin the full court press of media blitz on Irvin Johnson and Larry Bird, because these two guys are the guys that are going to make our sport must-see TV. It's going to be on national television, it's going to be live, and it's going to be everywhere. And boy, effing howdy, he was right. Because in 85 and 87, you got it. 86, you got the Celtics. They were right back there. 88, you got the Lakers. They were right back there. So literally, in 84, when he was like, we got to put these guys, this is going to be the thing to do it. And then boom, 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 boom. Fantastic. The second thing he did, in 1984, when Jordan Mania and the Air Jordan wasn't even a zygote of a sperm cell in frickin' Phil Knight's nutsack, was he called up the IOC and literally began the process of breaking down the wall and getting his professional players in Olympic competition. He knew exactly what he was doing. And then from 84 to 92, Michael Jordan became something different. He was different. He was 84, he was okay. North Carolina loved him. But by 92, they were ready to take over the world. And boy, they did it. And what has happened now? Last year's MVP from Greece. You have Dirk Nowitzki, NBA champ and a Hall of Famer. He's from Germany. And these are not the only guys. Drazen Petrovic was from, Pete. Drazen was from Croatia. You've had internationals play in the NBA for a long time now. Arvidas and, who am I not thinking of? For Pete's sake, played for the Pacers. Detlef, excuse me. You've had guys, big guys, good guys. Peja, I'm thinking about a bunch of them now, man. But as far as now, icon, bedrock talent. This ties into a conversation I had with somebody the other day because they were talking about the big documentary about the Bulls coming up. And I hope it's about the Bulls because I've heard recently it's just about Michael. And I'm like, 10 hours just Michael, you can keep. I got no interest in that. Michael's not my guy. I already know everything. I'm good. If it's the Bulls, I'm interested. But the point, of course, because God knows we can't just take a pitch, LeBron will never have a documentary, and it's like, oh, how wrong you are.
And there already one?
LeBron's going to have a massive documentary. Let me tell you what it's going to be about. It's going to be about, first of all, his altruism will be the main point of it. But from a basketball standpoint, the documentary about LeBron James, and remember I said this because it's going to happen, and that's going to be real cool. The documentary about LeBron James that eventually will come out will be a When We Were Kings style after-the-fact documentary where you use old footage to make your point. And the point is this. LeBron James is very, very possibly the last face of the NBA that will be from these 50 United States. Very possible. Because Giannis has already won an MVP and is godly. Luka Doncic is whiter than either one of us.
Mm-hmm.
If you think Luka's not Larry Bird reincarnated with an international camera crew, you're wrong. He's that good. He's that big of a deal, and he is going to be. That's the next one. Who's going to be the player of the 2020s? Is it going to be Luka or Kevin Durant? It's not going to be either one of them. As great as they're going to be, it will be Luka Doncic. For the same reason that the ultimate player of the 80s, in my opinion, is Magic, because I love Magic. But as far as box office and television cameras, it's Larry Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Because white people sell. You pitch it to white folks, you make a lot of money in this country and damn sure in Europe. So whether he's the best player or not is beside the point, isn't it? Totally beside the point. I said face, marketable. Luka Doncic is going to be bigger than any player we have ever seen, period. And yeah, that includes Mike. Now, Phil's going to fight, and Phil's going to fight, and Phil's going to fight. But who did Luka Doncic sign his shoe contract with? Did he sign with Phil at Nike, or did he sign with Mike at Jordan? He signed with MJ. And why did he do that? Because as much as I don't like Michael Jordan, he is really good at business, and he's smart enough to know this is the next guy. This is the next huge behemoth snowball. Made a lot of references to white things there. Sorry about that. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Michael knows that it's coming. But that will be your documentary about LeBron James. He will be this phenomenal comet that came out of high school, 16 years old. Everybody knew he was going to be the next Michael Jordan. He didn't win as many rings as Michael. Didn't win any scoring titles as Michael. As far as being the guy whom the league is built on, they're the same guy. That's it. Even more so than Kobe, and I love Kobe, but Kobe was never Michael. LeBron is on the Michael scale of just how huge the league has gotten underneath their reign. So that documentary will be fascinating when all of a sudden now the Europeans that Michael helped get into the game with the Dream Team have now taken it over. The NBA is going to be fantastic. As soon as they drop the N, make it an I.
Yeah.
As soon as it's the IBA, it's going to be like, oh my gosh. And then it'll be like, the I will stand for interplanetary. It'll be awesome.
Yeah. We'll have footage of Bugs Bunny in the documentary, just waxing poetic about LeBron and how he got him out of rehab to do Space Jam 2.
I'm telling you, man, that's going to be a fascinating conversation for people to have.
But I think what you're talking about, that there's going to be a lot of revisionist history when they get to sit down and put on their necktie to talk in front of the camera about LeBron, about how much we loved him, the Ali style. Like, no, you didn't.
Oh yeah, it's very true. It's one of the things that I appreciate about Ali is that the people that did not like him, as far as his opponents, they never changed their feathers. But yeah, man, the sports writers who now all of a sudden want you to think they were Mr. Cassius Clay, and I had his back, man. I knew he was just a hard-scrabbled kid from Louisville, and he's entitled to his opinion. He's an American citizen. He's free to make his yeah, there was a whole bunch of y'all lining up. That's why he didn't do jail time for not going to the war. Oh, wait a minute, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. I'm with you. Oh, the revisionist history on LeBron is going to be absolutely. Grab your depends because you're going to crap yourself laughing hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got way sidetracked on that, but that is an interesting idea for a movie, and it's going to be fascinating. And baseball can make that. Well, baseball can't really make that movie because baseball can't market itself in America. It's funny that all we ever hear about is how terrible baseball's doing, but then every year you get free. I mean. Y'all do realize that Scott Boras made like $84 million on over 3 guys this offseason alone.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're finding this money to pay people, but baseball contracts are guaranteed, so I guess they must be doing better than we're being told.
Maybe some baseball owners will get sued Vince style. Just say, where's all this money going? What's going on with this XFL Part 2?
Oh, man.
Vote of no confidence. But yeah, but the I love that talk about like how terrible things are. Like, well, they still keep rolling right along. So keep on doing whatever you do.
I agree totally. It's like Kornheiser mentions NBA ratings down 14%. 14%, Mike? 14%? They're down 40%, Mike? Well, the NFL's been down 30 over the last decade. No one says anything, so I guess they're both doing okay, huh? Maybe television isn't monitored the way it used to be. Adam Silver just absolutely nuked that the next day. He's like, ticket sales are up, jersey sales are up, international viewing's up, interactions on social media are holding tight, subscriptions internationally to the League Pass are up. I think we're okay.
Yeah.
I love that guy, man. He is just a killer, dude. It's like, don't bring that weak junk to me, man. Come on.
You're using a outdated statistic
Yeah.
to try to make this the end all be all only thing that's measured.
Yeah, because that's all you are. You
Mhm.
still need to think TV is that important, and it's not.
Yeah.
You're not as important as you used to be. You know, it's like that thing that all of you used to do. You used to write for a sports page. How come you don't do that anymore? Us, right? Because sports pages don't matter.
Yeah.
And boy, it hurts your little fragile feelings to know that your TV show doesn't matter. But unfortunately, the reason that that tune sounds familiar is because you've heard this before. You've done this dance before, friend. You are irrelevant, and always have. That's why they all freak out so bad about Twitter.
The bell's
Because
tolling.
literally, as mean as it sounds, these are the facts. If you want to talk basketball, jump on Instagram and look up Basketball Mecca, MECCA, Basketball Mecca. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Mecca, as far as I know, does not have a journalism degree. Does not work for ESPN. I know that's a fact. But you want to know about basketball yesterday, today, or tomorrow, tune into that guy. Because literally there's that guy, and then compare him to anybody at ESPN, and quite literally the difference is Mecca doesn't have an agenda. Mecca actually knows his shit, and Mecca doesn't have the crippling student loan debt that half of ESPN does. I know you're proud of that sheepskin you got hung on your wall, man, but it's useless for your job now because you're basically just a blogger with $300,000 worth of debt. And man, that sucks. But boy, welcome to 2020. That's what it is. Just check that arrogance just a little bit. Just a little bit. Prick.
Yeah, man.
There's more than one of them.
Oh, heck yeah. So, Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, man. Hey, I think we doing good, man. 2020 is the year we all kick at it, too.
Sweet. Sitting over here, sipping on my White Claw. Be like, what's up?
Oh, what's up, New Year?
I'll see y'all.